You are now watching the official YouTube channel for the largest basketball manager game in the world. Join at BuzzerBeater.com if you think you can beat the buzzer.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Bubbles BuzzerBeater, the official BuzzerBeater YouTube channel. Today I wanted to bring back a series that had been going on for a little bit, and I know I was getting some questions about the series as a whole and asking for an update on the team, but that's going to be the Utopia team experiment series. And I know the last time we left off, I was mostly just kind of training players with the intention to sell, and then expanding the arena, kind of getting just the base kind of cornerstones of the team kind of set up for future success. So looking at the arena, looking at the training setup, and then once again, the plan for the team, or the idea behind the Utopia team experiment, was this number 2 right here is what most people wanted to see from the Utopia team, which is a 5-out spread offense with no true bigs. So you can see these setups like a point guard, shooting guard, small forward, and then like a combo like forward, but with no true bigs. And then essentially we want to do this because with the stamina changes and outside offenses being a little bit more useful, we wanted to try to create a team that could be a 5-out system and be successful. So for the Utopia team as a whole, going to the roster, you'll notice that there are a couple players still on the team from the previous kind of iteration of the Utopia experiment, or like the Chapter 1 version. So you can see I still have the South Africa big man on my team, and then I still have a couple players, most notably Reebok and Rocky. I know they are like mainstays on the team. They've been here for a long time. But a lot of the trainees themselves have been upgraded, and this is kind of the new crew. So looking at like the top 3 trainees and the players that I'll be prioritizing for training for this 5-out system, the first one's going to be Andy, Mr. Danger Granger, and you'll see he's progressing pretty nicely. The jersey numbers for the players are actually the total skill points that they started out, so I figured that was a pretty quick way to monitor how many skill points they've popped in, and for new viewers to see, where they started at and where they're going. So you can see Mr. Danger's at 75 total skill points right now, so definitely not bad. I think he's the furthest along of the 3 trainees that I have. And then the other 2 are going to be right here. So Eugenio Swiss Army Knife Giesdorf, I believe is how you say it. So I just call him Swiss Army Knife. But he is the secondary trainee that I had. And then a more recent trainee that I did pick up is David Ghost Eyes Lawton. And the reason I picked up Ghost Eyes is because I wanted a trainee with Hall of Famer potential, so I can really stack on as much total skill points as possible. He does have higher handling and driving, so I picked him up this season, whereas these 2 I've been training for a full season already. A little bit fewer total skill points, but I think he should be able to catch up. And then the Hall of Famer potential should give him some nice room to continue training once we move on to like the next set of trainees as well. But this is kind of the main 3 trainees that I am focusing on. And the idea in mind that I had was looking at probably having Ghost Eyes be like the small forward, looking at Mr. Danger being the power forward spot, but more like a true small forward, and then the Swiss Army Knife guy right here being the small ball 5 player. So he's in a spot where he started with 7 rebounding and has some nice shot blocking at 8 shot blocking already. So he's set up more for big skill wise, whereas Mr. Danger and Ghost Eyes have a little bit lower shot blocking and inside defense. But the plan for now is just training one-on-one forwards for the rest of the season. So trying to get that handling and driving up higher before we ultimately start hitting inside defense and outside defense training. But the reason I haven't been updating the team very often is because one-on-one forward training is not the most exciting thing ever. But they are starting to progress to a point where they are playing better and have been progressing pretty nicely for me. And then for like other trainees on the roster, I do have Bakari Barbarian Walker. He's actually on the Barbados national team for the U21 team. Pretty far behind the other trainees just because, when there's minutes that get messed up or injuries, he's the one that misses out on training. But he is getting a pop here or there, so he'll be a tag-along trainee for the rest of this season. And then the other two trainees that are kind of my tag-alongs are Alfredo right here, where he got a couple pops this week as well. Lower potential, but he's someone that actually was drafted by the Utopia team, so that's pretty cool. And then, of course, Cheeks or Kevin Sabeko for the U21 South Africa team. He's been a player that's been spammed on 1v1 for a while now. And the other cool thing with him that I'll show you is he is actually on pace for potentially breaking the all-time record for rebounds for South Africa. And he already actually broke the single-season records. You can see the single-season record for season 60. He barely got it with 220 rebounds, but that is the new record for all U21 South Africa players. And then you can see him all the way down here for overall rebounds, where he needs to get up to 493, but he has about 9 more games to do so. So if he's averaging like 14, 15 rebounds a game, he can actually get there. So that's something that we'll monitor as well, as to see how high up he can get on this rank. So he's a really good rebounder, and he'll probably be on my team through this year, potentially next year, and then we'll kind of look at the salary, because eventually for a 5-out system, I will have to put him on the transfer list and get rid of him, because he's what you'd consider a true big man, since he has a lot of those rebounding, shot blocking stats, and then not much outside skill. So he'll eventually be sold, but he's probably a player that I'll put into the Hall of Fame for the Utopia team, so he's definitely a player to keep track of. And then just a review of kind of the league situation and training setup and arena stuff. So for the Utopia League right now, I'm currently 7-1, so pretty good record. It's going to be a toss-up between if I can get the number 1 seed in the Big 8 or not. But I'm pretty confident I'll be a top 3 seed for this league, and I'll have to decide, if I'm wanting to make a playoff push at the end of the season or not. I don't have a lot of funds for the Utopia team because I've been continuing to expand the arena and spend a lot of scouting points. But I do have $178,000 right here, making about $75K per week. And then you can see the infrastructure and scouting is going to be a decent reason why I'm not making more money right there. But the training setup, I can show you this. For those of you that aren't updated on what my training setup looks like, I do have a level 1 training court, so I get those nice, 1-2 free throw pops per season or two. And then I do have the level 3 gym. You can also see the arena right here, so I've maxed out the luxury boxes and courtside seats finally, up to 17,000 seats, which I'm pretty happy with. And I probably won't look at expanding the arena any further until I'm in Division 3 or potentially Division 2. 17,000 for the Utopia Arena feels pretty good. And then for the staff that I have, so for the trainers, I do carry a level 3 doctor. I know there's been a lot of talk about like injuries in BuzzerBeater, and I've always carried like a competent doctor just to have something to help minimize those if I can. But for the trainer, I do carry a level 4 trainer, and then a level 4 youth trainer, and it's right about the time of the season where I'm looking at cycling through another trainer, so I'll be looking for a level 5 if possible, but if not, just a cheaper level 4 trainer. Usually around All-Star Week is a good time to start looking for those trainers, but that's kind of the training setup that I got going on. So I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on the Utopia team a little bit more frequently moving forward. This is kind of like our chapter 2, where these are the players that I'm intending on sticking with long term. So these are guys that you'll get to know and see a lot. Once again, the main 3 being Mr. Danger, Swiss Army Knife, and then Ghost Eyes. So if you had a favorite build of these 3 so far, go ahead and just comment their nickname or their name down in the comments. Let me know. I'd love to get like a pool going of just seeing like, which trainee's your favorite and kind of prioritizing training for that player if there's like a breakaway candidate that people really like in terms of their build. So that's all I wanted to do for today. This is kind of the start of a new chapter for this, so I'm really excited to get this going. And then I guess one thing before I go, I was helping BB Justin kind of update the forum stickies. So if you go to like the BB Global English channel here, you'll see that a lot of the old stickied threads that weren't relevant anymore are now removed. And then these have been reordered in a way that are helpful. So if you did want to refer to any of these, there's a lot of like the manual updates, the Q&A, the knowledge base. A lot of these are really helpful for just information on BuzzerBeater. And then we did add a BB help links right up here, where if you're someone that isn't aware of like how to use Buzzer Manager or what it's useful for, if you're not on the Discord yet, or I guess if you aren't subscribed to the YouTube channel, I imagine most of you are watching this from the YouTube channel right now, but also the app. So there's a lot of useful links here to help enhance your BuzzerBeater experience, and it's my intention to help BB Justin kind of update the other channels or the other forums as well. So just another note there is this BB Helps link, I think, is something that's really useful for newer managers specifically, or if you just weren't aware that these resources were there for you. So I think that's going to do it for today. I'll go ahead and let you go. And as always, thanks for tuning in, guys. Bye.